welcome or welcome back to my channel, Lydia Lost the Plot. I'm Lydia and today I'm here to give you 5 of my 5-star read predictions. Now, I have a lot of books on my TBR and most of them I'm very excited to get to and I think will be good. But there are a handful that I think will be phenomenal. Now, I worry about the hype. Sorry if you can see Cass there. But I do worry about the hype because sometimes when books come to me super hyped, I immediately have this ridiculously high expectation of whether or not they'll be any good. And then I ultimately always, or nearly always, get disappointed. There are a few that kind of surpass those expectations. So I try not to put too many hopes on a read before I've read it. But these 5 books are books that I think will be really, really good and hopefully will be 5-star reads. Now, I am conscious that these are proof copies, so do forgive the fact that these aren't finished covers, but I get a lot of books through work that are proof copies, so we'll live. The first 5-star prediction I have is The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monika Kim. For a start, look at that. And it's described as part literary horror, part feminist howl. The Eyes Are the Best Part is a brilliantly inventive, subversive novel. Now, I love a bit of horror, but I also cannot get enough of weird fiction at the moment. There are so many cool weird fiction books going around, and I think I might do a video just on that. If you'd like me to, please do comment down below. But it's just so cool. Like, look, it's a mouth and there's an eye, and I just think, I don't know, I think it's going to be really fun and different. And what I like about weird fiction is that it can do the job that a fiction novel can do, which is move you, show you a new reality, give you a different perspective on an issue, but it does so in such an inventive and different way that you don't feel like you are painting by numbers. It's just so much more subversive, and I especially like ones that are a little bit irreverent. So I think that this will be 5 stars. I'm hoping it's going to be 5 stars. The next book that I predict will be a 5-star read is Babylonia by Costanza Casati. Now, I read Costanza's first novel, which was Clytemnestra. It was 5 stars. It was a bonkers, brilliant book about a retelling about the myth of Clytemnestra. And oh my gosh, it was just, you just were so immersed in the world, and she was so kick-ass and cool. I just couldn't believe that I, as a historical fiction sort of newbie, was so immersed in it. It was brilliant, and I think that, you know, she's sticking to what she knows. She's staying in the historical fiction area, but I think this is going to be just as good if Clytemnestra is anything to go by, and that's Babylonia. And I've not read it yet, but I'm really excited. There are some gorgeous it's a gorgeous, where is it? Gorgeous little font and title headings that I think are really nice. But on the back it says, she kills her lover on the altar of a foreign goddess. Orphan warrior queen. Author warrior queen. Oh, Warrior Queen. I think we can get on board with that. The next book that I predict will be a 5-star read is Evenings and Weekends by Oisin Mckenna. I don't know much about this other than everybody's told me it's fantastic. Everyone who's read it has said it's phenomenal. So when I get a lot of people hyping up a book, I tend to, like, it sticks on my radar, and then when I see it come through in you know, at work, or I see people start to make videos about it, I'm like, okay, I need to get to this book. So the popularity of this book has definitely influenced me. I'm full on influenced to get this book into my hands. It says London 2019, it's the hottest June on record and the weekend is about to begin, and it follows 4 different people over the course of the weekend. Feels a bit David Nicholls-y, you know, that kind of concept of like having a short period of time, or a snapshot of time, and having them live in this little microcosm. So I'm hoping it's going to be good. I've heard that it's a fantastic take on contemporary London, and really captures the spirit of the city. And I enjoy London. I enjoy going down there. I live in the north of England, but when I do go down south, I do enjoy my time there. So it will be interesting to see how well it captures that. And yeah, so I think this will definitely be a 5-star read. The only misgivings I have about it are one of the characters is pregnant, and for some reason, I mean, I have children, I have been pregnant, for some reason I just find books about pregnancy, or books with pregnant people in them, a bit boring. Which sounds awful, but it's true, because I've been there and done that a couple of times. It's just sort of like, I don't know, I feel like people fall really easily into cliche and into stereotypical tropes, and the only book that I've ever really read that captured pregnancy for what it really felt like for me was Matrescence by Lucy Jones, which I read this year, and that was a book, a non-fiction book. It was longlisted for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction, and it was a phenomenal exploration of what motherhood and pregnancy does to you as a person. So I'm just hoping that this captures the bits of pregnancy and motherhood that we don't hear about very often. So that would be good. But they're my only misgivings. I do think it will be good. Second to last is The Borrowed Hills by Scott Preston. This is from John Murray's, and it's gorgeous proof. I love these. Now, the actual cover looks like that, which is better. And it is already out. It came out in April. But I was in 2 minds about this book. I got a proof copy and I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. And then Martha Loves Books on Instagram was waxing lyrical about how great it was, and I was like, well, I'm sold. Anything she says, I'm like, yes, immediately. So I put it on my list, and now I really do think it's going to be incredible. And it's about it basically says a reimagining of the American Western for the fells of Northern England. Scott Preston's thrilling debut tells of men and women struggling to make lives for themselves in an unyielding land. Lyrical, cinematic, visceral, and steeped in local folklore, The Borrowed Hills is an epic tale of a forgotten Britain. I mean, it brings out the northerner in me, let me tell you. And I think that a lot of the time working class northern stories are not talked about in popular fiction and in contemporary fiction. So I'm all for amplifying those voices. I myself am a working class girl from a working class background. I'm northern, and I would say that I'm that where I'm from, a lot of our stories are not spoken about and not highlighted in fiction. So I think this will be a fantastic read. And also it tackles the foot and mouth epidemic that happened. And I think that again is something that's not been explored, and is something that I remember vividly from my childhood, about how it was affecting farmers. There were people going to extremes because they'd lost their livelihoods, their cattle, and their, you know, basically their income, and it had a profound effect on Northern England especially. So yeah, I think this is going to be a 5-star read, and I'm excited to get to it. And it's not that big, and I've got a week off, so maybe. And then last but by no means least, it's You Are Here by David Nicholls. Now, I love David Nicholls. I adore his books. I've read, how many have I read? Okay, let me get the front out. So I've read Start for 10, I've read The Understudy, I've read One Day, and I've read Sweet Sorrow. Have I read Us? I have read Us. So I've read everything he's ever written. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan. No, I'm a super fan, clearly. And David Nicholls is just wonderfully witty, so funny, and so brilliant at getting to the heart of characters, and the way that he writes emotion, particularly from a male perspective, is unparalleled. I don't think there's anybody out there that does what David Nicholls does as good as he does it. He's just a phenomenal writer, and I'm so happy that I've got a hold of his latest novel. It is out now, and I think this is going to be a great summer read. I think it's going to be fantastic to delve into and get lost in the characters. He's so great at that kind of immersive reading experience that I think this is going to be on a lot of my lists of best books, because this is just so good. I'm just so excited. I love him. He's so great. So I think this will be a 5-star read. So that was a bit of a whirlwind tour, but they are my 5-star predictions. 5-star predictions. All about the 5s today. Obviously, I will let you know if they don't live up to expectations. I am aware that I have very high expectations of books. But I think that when you hear a lot about a book, you do tend to slightly elevate it in your mind. But I will hopefully get to them soon, and I'll be able to update you on whether or not they made 5 stars, because believe it or not, I'm extremely picky when it comes to giving out 5 stars. There are only a few novels and non-fiction books this year that I have given 5 stars to, just a handful, because for it to truly be a 5-star novel, because I read so many books and because I read a lot for work, it has to be just phenomenal. It has to have really moved me beyond, you know, just the reading experience. It needs to kind of have assimilated its way into my life. So fingers crossed some of these do. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed our little foray into 5-star reads, and if you do, please like this video, please do subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment in the comments box below to let me know what book you are currently reading. If you made it this far in the video, well done. We did it. And I hope that the rest of the week treats you well. So thank you so much. Bye bye.